Well, y'all, welcome back to another episode of the Rolling the Bottom Podcast. Hope you're doing well whenever you were listening to this one. Excited to be filming another podcast, first podcast in 2026. We'll see how long this will be. Gotta get to work here soon, so we're trying to knock out some of this stuff, but also give a lot of good detail and give you my overall thoughts. So here we go, baby. The chase is back. NASCAR announced a new championship format to be the chase. Over a year-long discussion committee to discuss what a new format could be, they all realized, I think people in the NASCAR industry were realizing that the playoffs just was not a good way to decide a champion. There's just too much luck. I feel there's too many undeserving people competing for a championship because they won one race. They won like Daytona or Talladega. And it took away from guys that put a full body of work together, consistency. You know, Joe Logano won a bunch of championships in this format. I think his past two championships, I don't even know if he was even top 5 in points. I think the last two championships when he raced him at Phoenix, he wasn't even top 5 in points. I think one year he wasn't even top 10 in points. So they didn't like that. They would call these people Mickey Mouse championships because they weren't consistently up front. And you could still compete for a championship. Now some people would say, oh, we raced the playoffs different. Now we'll race it different for the chase. Well, the chase format, they had it in 2013. I think this is a lot different. I don't know how the points reset was for the old chase. That was from 2004 to 2013. But this chase, let's break it down. Very simple. A lot easier to explain in the playoffs, which is great. The chase is 26 regular season races, 10 chase races. 16 drivers make it. 16 drivers make it just like the playoffs. You get 55 points for winning a race. You used to get 40, so now winning means more because you get more points for winning. There is no more winning you're in. You used to be able to win a race to make the playoffs. That is gone, which I love so much. I hate the fact you could see a guy in 30th points win one race, and he is a playoff guy. It just didn't sit well with a lot of people. And now, the points leader, if you're the number one guy, if you're first in the points after 26 races, the points will reset for 2,000 points upward. You will get a 25-point advantage over second place. And then second place will get a 10-point advantage over third place. And then from third place to 16th, you will have a 5-point spread. So third place will have a 5-point advantage over fourth place, 5-point advantage over fifth place, so on and so on, to 16th. Look, guys, really easy to explain, and that's what I love so much. And I love that now every race matters more. Every race matters. Wrecking out means more. Engine failures, mechanical failures mean more. That's why I love this new chase format. Because now, in the old playoff format, in the playoffs, if you won the first race of a 3-race round, you didn't have to worry. You were locked into the next round, so you didn't have to worry about the next 2 races. So you could lay off, man. Also, missing a race for a birth of a child or injury didn't mean as much because they would give you a waiver. Now, missing a race, you could cost your entire season. You could cost yourself a championship. So that's why I love it. Now, there are some things. I also believe that the full amount of points you can earn in a race is 75 because 2 stage wins is 10 points. No, 2 stage wins is 20 points because you win 10 points for a stage win, and then the race is 55 points. Also, I guess you could add one more point to that because if you win the Xfinity fastest lap, that's 1 point, so 76 points. And then for the Coke 600, you can win 85 points if everything goes right. You win all 3 stages because there's a 4th stage. So that would be 30 points you could win from stages, and then you win the race, that's 55 points. That's 85 points. And you win the Xfinity fastest lap, that's 86 points. So that's what we learn when it comes to how many points you could accumulate through one race. So now my cons. The things I don't like about the chase, I don't like the fact that it's 16 drivers. I don't like the fact that 16 drivers make it because I feel like most likely you're going to know, most likely, certainly 6, when the playoffs start, 16 will have a chance if he goes on a tear. But before you know it, whoever's in 16 will most likely be mathematically out of the playoffs. I just wish it was. I like that when I think the old chase 10 drivers made it. They kept expanding it and had like 2 wild cards, so it ended up being like 12 drivers. There was that one year they put Jeff Gordon in because of a whole bunch of craziness that happened at Richmond, the final race there. I wish it was a little more exclusive. But I know it probably has a lot to do, have to do a lot with sponsors. Sponsors want to see their car in the playoffs, so you want to keep it nice and large. And technically, I realized the NFL, I think it's 32 teams and 14 teams make it. So that's what about half the teams that make the playoffs. And there's about, there's 36 charters. So you would probably say there's about 30 solid cars that can, I wouldn't say can compete for the championship, but can compete, for wins. I mean, everyone can compete for a win at Daytona and Talladega. So in a way, it's not that big of a deal compared to other sports, but we're not other sports. And that's why I love that the chase is back. I love that it's called the chase. I hate the freaking playoffs. The playoffs, we don't play racing, dog. You don't play racing. When you're out there in a race car, these other drivers are doing, not me, of course. They're chasing their competition. They're chasing their prey. They're going after their competition. They want that win. They can see it. They got tunnel vision. They're chasing, right? The championship's right in front of you. They're chasing that. They're chasing that win. That's why I love the chase. I love the name. The chase is so cool. It gives NASCAR our own identity. You think about the Super Bowl, the NBA Finals, the World Series, and then the chase. It just sits so perfectly. Like the NASCAR playoffs is just like everyone else, blah, 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 blah. We're not sticking ball sports, baby. Come on. So I love this. I also thought it was interesting. Martin was there during the announcement. I heard from Ben Kennedy that if it wasn't for Martin being outspoken for the full 36, which I think we all wanted, they might have not gone with this format. We might have went to like a 3-3-4, a different playoff format where eliminations were still a thing, and you could still win your way in. So Martin, we need to give a lot of credit to Martin. Without him, I don't think we get what we get here, and that's what we gotta give Mark. I like that he was outspoken. I think he's also very respected because he says what he thinks. He doesn't sugarcoat things. He doesn't, he doesn't just say something because it's what other people want him to say. Now, look, he did also say that if it wasn't for the fans showing support for 36, he probably wouldn't be as outspoken. He wants to be the voice for the race fans. I think he was very much that. So I love the chase format. I think other drivers do. I was hearing Kyle Busch saying stuff that he feels like maybe now, if one wreck, one DNF could really hurt your championship. So, but I mean, most drivers wreck out one race or have an issue, but mechanical failures will be a massive deal. So, I think drivers are happy about it. I like that. I think this benefits drivers like a Chris Buescher or a Ryan Preece, Brad Keselowski. I mean, Ty Gibbs, Ross Chastain, Chase Elliott, who I think had like a race stretch where like he didn't finish outside the top 20. So guys that are really good at being consistent don't win a lot of races, but are consistent. This is what this benefits. So I'm excited. Every race matters, guys. Every freaking race matters. That's why I'm like one DNF can really put your season in a hole. So I love it, guys. You kind of break down the truck series. It's the same thing. You get a 25-point advantage if you were the regular season champion. Not regular season. If you're a regular season leader, it's 10. It's 7 races and 10 drivers for the Class and Truck Series, which that was the same for the playoffs. 10 drivers made it. 7 races, 1 champion. And then for the O'Reilly Series, it's 12 drivers, 9 races. I think this was the same. For the Inter Championship, for playoffs, I forget. I don't know if it was 9 races. It might have been less than 9 races, but I could be wrong about that. I'm probably not wrong about that, but I think it's great. Same thing, 25-point advantage. I'm liking that. I like that all 3 series are doing the playoffs, not the playoffs. I love that all 3 series are doing. I love that all 3 series are doing the chase because I think also what it does is allow these younger guys that are racing the Fast and Truck Series in the chase to understand, how to put on consistency, how to race for points, and get some used to the chase format. So then when they do get an opportunity to race in the Cup Series full time, they know what that feels like. They know what that pressure feels like. I thought maybe NASCAR was just going to keep the chase for the Cup and then do the whole playoff stuff. But I think, with some of the way some of these championships have been decided in the lower series, I don't think it was good to keep the playoffs. I think it was great to go with the chase. So overall, I'm so happy. I'm so happy that NASCAR, I thought it was great seeing Steve O'Donnell up there. It looks like he'll be the leader. he'll be the guy leading the charge. It was cool to see Dale Earnhardt Jr. up there. Mark Martin was up there for the announcement. Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, Chase Briscoe, and that's what I like. And look, man, I'm excited to see who are going to be the guys competing for the championship. Who's going to be that battle? Who in 2013, the final year of the old Chase, it was Jimmy Johnson, Matt Kenseth. They battled it out, and that was the whole storyline throughout the season. I'm just excited for this chase. I love it. So shout out to NASCAR for bringing back the chase. The chase, baby. Come on, baby. Woo! Now, we moving on here. Massive announcement that happened yesterday when I'm filming this. Tony Stewart is back in NASCAR. He will race in the Kaulig number 25 Ram truck at Daytona, season opener for the Craftsman Truck Series, baby. Tony Stewart, he had his own team for Stewart House Racing, and they shut down after the 2024 season. A lot of it had to do with just their team was lacking speed. I think they lost support. I also didn't feel like Tony Stewart was as committed to that team. It looked like he was more committed to his drag racing team, which is fine. But it's great. He also had some strong words to say about the sport, the way it was ran. I don't think he was really liking the way the direction the sport was going with where the lawsuit was coming, the charter stuff. He got his money and got out, and he's having great success in NHRA. And one of the reasons he's able to do this race for Ram is because he races for Dodge in the NHRA series. So now Dodge Ram connection there. They're kind of the same thing. Now Tony Stewart is going to be back in the truck racing at Daytona in the Craftsman Truck Series. And I believe this will be Tony Stewart's first race in a truck since 2005. And the first time he'll be racing in NASCAR since 2016. And I believe I saw Joseph Strickland came up with times between NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series starts. When Tony Stewart straps in at Daytona, he'll be the longest, I guess, driver to come back. I guess his time in between his last and next Craftsman Truck Series race will be a really long stretch with 20 years, 8 months, and 10 days. So that's the longest stretch in between having this Truck Series start to this Truck Series start, if I can not make it sound so stupid and try to explain it. So I'm hyped for Tony Stewart to be back. It's great that he'll be coming back from NASCAR. I think NASCAR is making a lot of good decisions, a lot of good changes here. Because one, they're bringing the chase format back. Steve Phelps is stepping away, which he had to step away for the stuff he said. It was a bad look for the sport. Tony Stewart's back. NASCAR, they're having a new reality TV show to decide the Ram trucks no 14 entry. There's 15 drivers. The first episode is this Sunday on Fox. I think 12 p.m. Eastern. So that's awesome. There'll be a big Fox 2. Dana White's promoting it. It's going to feel like your Ultimate Fighter stuff for UFC. So there's a lot of good stuff within the sport. The championship will be back in Homestead. And there's a lot of good energy with the sport. Now, look, of course, people won't be happy with the chase. They want 36. Maybe they still want playouts, right? There's still things, that fans won't be happy about. Maybe some people think that Steve O'Donnell, for stuff he said over text message that was discovered, he should be gone. No one's ever going to be happy in this sport, which I'm fine at. I like that fans are passionate. I like that fans. I love going on X and seeing what people are saying, because fans drive sports. And I was once a fan. Now I look at myself more as a media, trying to be a little more professional and not just go on rants. So it's awesome to see Tony Stewart back in the sport, baby. I cannot wait to see what he does. Now I will say, I'm worried that Tony Stewart might not finish this race, because the Daytona truck race is always a wreck fest. Because it's a lot of inexperienced guys trying to drive in the pack. It always doesn't go well, but it'll sure as heck be entertaining to see Smoke back in the Craftsman Truck Series and back in NASCAR. Woo! Now, I want to move on here to Adam Stern reported, sources say that media companies and private equity players have informed talks with NASCAR about what would it look like to take a minority stake in the racing series. So Adam Stern came out with some interesting reports about, NASCAR could maybe be looking to maybe sell a portion of their sport. We learned in the lawsuit that France Enterprises owns all NASCAR. 54% is Jim France. 46% is Lisa France. Lisa France's dad is Bill France, I think Jr. And then Bill France Jr. One of his brothers is Jim France. Uh, Lisa France, uh, Lisa France Kennedy. Her son is Ben Kennedy, who is now works high up in NASCAR, works with a lot of scheduling decisions. That's how it works. Bill France, before he owns majority of the stake, so he makes the final call. Lisa France, 46%. So they kind of own majority of the sport. So a new person would come in, one side would have to give up some, or it would just be like a mutual. They split it down the middle. I don't know. There was also, I guess, there was another report I think he came out with. If I could find it, maybe I lost it. Yeah, some in the racing, another thing from Alistair. Some in the racing/sports have wondered in recent months if the antitrust lawsuit could lead to the France family to evaluate selling part or all of the NASCAR holdings, with speculation about whether entertainment giant like UFC/WWE owner TKO Group is interested. So yeah, I think with the way the lawsuit happened, that could really create. There's a lot of negativity with the sport. It was a bad look for the sport. Um, not Jim France, excuse me. I think, Jim France looked like a bad guy. He was the one always saying no to all these decisions. A lot of things the teams wanted, they could have just got earlier on, and they didn't have to go through this lawsuit, and NASCAR didn't have to have their whole business model blown up. But yeah, TKO Group, they own the WWE, they own the UFC. They go all in. I really don't think Jim France. He's a no BS type of dude. I don't think he's just gonna He's not gonna sell away majority of NASCAR. I think they want to keep it in the family, but I don't think I don't think it would be surprising if down the road here, maybe in a couple of years, you could see NASCAR sell a portion of it off to another entity. But very interesting to hear that, especially, it's not surprising to hear this after the lawsuit with everything that happened there. But it would be interesting to see, who would join in and be a part owner in NASCAR. And maybe get out of that whole light of it just being a family company. Last thing I want to bring up here, the race for the seat. Ram is coming out with their own reality TV show, Race for the Seat. It'll be, I believe, 15 drivers competing for one seat. And it is going to be airing this weekend on Fox, on Big Fox. Dana White is going to be one of the guys part of the show. They're all going to be competing for the No 14 Ram truck seat. There was already rumors about this. There was I think early 2000s, there was a show. I think it was called Roush X. It was like a show, like a reality TV show, like The Ultimate Fighter, where these drivers were competing for a seat to race in, I think it was Roush's Truck Series team, I believe. Now they're bringing it back for Kaulig Trucks. Kaulig is now owns and runs a Truck Series team for Ram. Now I believe Ram is funding it, but Kaulig is the one with all the employees. They were announced Daniel Dye in the 10, Brendan Queen in the 12, Justin Haley in the 16. Love all three of those guys. Justin Haley, former Cup guy, lost his ride in the Cup Series because I think of sponsorship. Brendan Queen was the ARCA Series champion last year. Now he gets a Truck Series ride. And then Daniel Dye was in the Kaulig Xfinity program, and that shut down because Kaulig needs to focus more on this program, so he got a ride. And now we know that the 25 will be Tony Stewart for the first race. And I know that'll be a free agency, like they said. So there'll be a rotating seat there. So you get multiple different drivers in that seat. And then the 14, it'll come down to 15 drivers. Episode 1 airs this weekend, like I said. And then I forget how many episodes it'll be. But then I think the next episode will air on YouTube. But we'll know. I guess people already know who it is. Because I think it was already leaked because there was an ARCA test that he had to do to get certified to race in the super speedways. But I'm excited to see this reality TV show. I'm excited to see how it does production-wise. But I think a reality TV show is really good for the sport. We need more reality TV for NASCAR. Because I was checking, guys, if you go on NASCAR's YouTube channel and you see their NASCAR Rising show they did, kind of like a reality TV show behind the scenes of some of these drivers. It was Carson Osevar, Jesse Love, and then one other guy. And Rajah Ruth. They were all three doing a reality TV show, and those all, I think, it was 5 episodes. They have millions of views for all 5 episodes. So that was a big success for NASCAR. Overall, guys, this was like, I think, a 20-minute podcast. We hit everything I wanted to hit for this podcast. So overall, guys, thank you guys for watching. I'm excited for this season. Stay tuned to some more NASCAR content as always. I got my NASCAR top 5 favorite paint schemes of all time coming probably this coming week. So stay tuned to that. Love you guys. Looking forward to this season, baby.
Woo!